Hashtag Insane Friends.
Yes,
It's Wednesday night again.
The first one in chat again.
Woo! Horses Shop. First in chat. What a guy. All right. Well, we start with shouting out all these great people on the hashtag Insane Friends live calendar. We carry the awesome torch on their live days. And notice we're on Wednesday night right here. We have a special guest. We're going to introduce him here in just a minute. Tomorrow night, you can catch Dorito and Lucha Cabra and Easy 2 Tech tips, trips, etc. Sorry, Ken. I get tongue-tied on the name of your channel all the time. 10 o'clock till 12 on Thursday nights. He is broadcasting out of California, so that's not his time. That's our time, Eastern Standard Time. Then, Horses Shop is live at 8:30 on Friday nights, followed by Twisted R Racing at 9 p.m. Saturdays, you can hang out with Chopper's Rule 1 at 6:30, and then later with Fab Automotive Detailing at 9 o'clock. Sunday, we're right back here at Saneauto with all your hashtag Insane Friends at 7:30, followed by Gregory Salvatore at 9 p.m. And then Mondays, it is One Wheelie at 9 p.m. and Tuesday, Bubsification at 9 p.m. So, we have our special guest tonight. Well,
it's me.
Yeah,
don't let
Queen of the Car Scene.
Yes.
Carol Sane. Check out her channel.
Car Scene. Yay.
I hope y'all enjoyed our guest last week. This week, we have, drum roll please. You want to do it or I'm going to do it?
You got to do it.
Hey, Charles Starnes, how you doing? Great to see you in the chat. About to introduce our guest.
Oh, it's my computer's messing up.
How's that? We were having all kinds of technical difficulties. Hang out with us. Just a second. We have Smitty Travels.
Yay!
You might have seen Smitty Travels in one of our recent videos of the World of Wheels in Chattanooga. A big special thanks to John Schneider for introducing us. Without him, we would have never met. He was there helping him out at the World of Wheels in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Smitty Travels. Smitty, can you tell the audience a little bit about your channel and what you do?
And where you do it and when you do it and all that good stuff.
When we do it, we do it every day. Matter of fact, that's all I do is create content. I don't have another job. That's pretty much what I do.
Full-time YouTuber.
Say again?
Full-time YouTuber.
Full-time YouTuber. Absolutely. I do car shows. I do theme parks. Pretty much if it's out there, I want to see it. I want to take you guys along to show you guys. So
TriStar Travelers is here. I'm sure they know what you're talking about. They do a similar format. I don't think they hit quite as many cars though. Good to see you here. Glad to have you back.
Yeah. Now on my on my channel, I will go to a car show when I'm invited to go to a car show. I normally don't just pick one. I do a lot of Mopar shows. I'm a Mopar guy. Don't tune out because of that. But I do the Wellborn Muscle Car Show there in North Alabama, and just lots of different shows. Now I will do other shows on request, but I kind of stay to the Mopar shows.
Charles Starnes has Little Bo with him.
Yes.
Glad you watching the show, Little Bo.
Yeehaw!
So you have other platforms other than YouTube, don't you? Have a website and things like that I was seeing?
And I know this is going to sound funny, but if you want to follow me, just Google Smitty Travels.
There you
and
go.
all my stuff will just pop up. Top search on that. So that makes it easy. So Google Smitty Travels. I have Instagram. I have, what's the other one? Twitch.
Hi, little Bo.
Everybody wave at little Bo.
Hi.
Well, Paul,
Yeah.
great kid. They've done a great job with that kid. Great, great kid. Love that kid.
TriStar Travelers asked if we have a link for your YouTube. I will put another one on our Saneauto Facebook page. If you're not already a member of our Saneauto Facebook page, then just join my Facebook page, Victor Sane, SANE Facebook page, and I will send you and put YouTuber or YouTube or the name of your YouTube channel, something like that, to give me a clue, and I will send you an invite to the Saneauto Facebook page, and everybody's there. Everybody's sharing videos from their YouTube channels there, and you can click on their YouTube videos and stuff and go right to their channel. Paul Michael, General Lee, Awesome Videos is here. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you here.
Subscribe to his channel.
Oh, I will.
He definitely has a small channel. Like I say, he's a great kid, and he's looking to build his channel and be a YouTuber. So
well, he's come to the right place, because there's a bunch of really, really supportive people that come to our chat. That's one of the things we do, and definitely, if you want to grow your channel, come to our Sane Sunday Live at 7:30 on Sunday nights, as we don't usually have a guest on that live. We play some car trivia games and stuff like that. Put people's channels up on that guess the right answers.
The guest in the chat.
Yeah, everybody in the chat is the star of the show during that show. And that show is all about whoever shows up in the chat. Right. And a lot of support going on during that show. Not that they don't support you when you come in this show, but it's just that there's more focus on that. Here we want to hear about your channel and what kind of videos you're doing and what kind of struggles you're doing. Now, what about these new videos you just got from the World of Wheels? We were at the World of Wheels too. That's where we met you. And I think you just put up another new one, didn't you?
Yeah, I put out a new one. As you know, through the editing process, you capture hours and hours of footage. And even though I kept editing down, that thing could have been possibly an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to sit and watch an hour-long, 2 hour-long YouTube video. So I condensed that down to what I essentially called Smitty's Picks, and wound up putting together just a really, really small presentation, and which turned out to be mostly Mopar stuff, because that's what I'm really interested in. But put it to a little bit of John Snyder music and kicked it out the door. So look that up. Enjoy.
Awesome. I will also be putting a link to Smitty Travels channel in the description and in the permanent chat after the show. Maybe tomorrow before I get to that, because we are having a kind of a late day. But
yes, I gotta work tomorrow.
I would put it in the chat right here, but we're having technical difficulties today. DSW Joyride Productions, great to see you here. You're gonna
DSW. Long time no see. What you been doing? Where you been doing it? Now you've been doing it.
I'm glad you're here tonight. DSW Joyride is a big member of the Mopar community. So he's also, of course, a big member of the hashtag Insanefriends community. But we are a community of communities here. We're car guy hangouts from all kinds of different communities and different audiences. And
yeah, they even like me. I'm a Mustang girl.
So. But Smitty Travels has got quite a bit of Mopar stuff on his channel, especially here lately. John's doing quite a few events here lately. There is another event coming up at John's place in Louisiana. Do you know? Remember the dates on that?
Bo's
calendar I left over there.
It is actually me and John's birthday is actually April 8th. And it doesn't fall, the 8th is on Monday, but 6th and 7th, Bose Extravaganza, Holden, Louisiana. If you want tickets for that, go to johnsnyderstudios.com. And
Now that's April, isn't it? April the 6th and 7th?
April 6th and 7th.
Correct. 2019, this year.
Yep, it's coming up quick, quicker than you think.
For y'all that are watching the replay, that's April 6th and 7th of 2019. So if y'all are watching this in 2025,
yeah, you
I
missed
hope
it.
I'm still alive.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have 2 car jumps. We're gonna have lots and lots and lots of music. We're gonna have a car show. Definitely get on the page and register for that. We're gonna have a hood sliding contest across a '69 Charger. I'm glad it's not anything I own, because we usually destroy a fender and a hood doing that event. So, carnival rides, lookalike contest.
So wrong.
Now he's got places to stay right there on the property, doesn't he? If somebody wants to like fly out or come from a long way, they can stay right there.
Unfortunately, the B&B, the Airbnb has been already booked, but we've got 15 or 20 hotels there in the local area. Will be more than happy to accommodate you.
Okay, so the local place is sold out like that.
Oh, absolutely. The stuff on property went pretty quick. But within 8, 9, 10 miles down the road, lots of more options. You got Hammond, Louisiana, Walker, Louisiana, Denham Springs, Louisiana, and Baton Rouge is just right there. So lots and lots of opportunities to spend the night. Or bring your knapsack, sleep in your car. Just come see us.
Right, and there's going to be a parade of General Lee's, right? And a car show and a lot of other events. It's going to be a whole weekend
There
thing.
are 8 people watching and only 4 people liking. Which 4 of you people don't like us?
Yeah. Which 4 people could that be?
I don't know.
How many wives do you have? So maybe that's what it is.
So how long have you been doing the YouTube portion of your online endeavors?
I have started, this is probably my 3rd or 4th endeavor on the YouTube part of it. This channel has actually been around the longest, just a little over a couple years. I get bored easy, which it's sometimes it's a great thing, sometimes it's not. But I get bored pretty quick. So I was already taking these trips, because I retired from the military a few years ago, and didn't have anything to do, so I was already taking these trips. And someone brought or posed the question, how come you don't film this stuff? I was like, yeah, why don't I? And Bob's your uncle, and that's what happened. So I've been doing it ever since. And that's why my channel has became more of a time stamp of where I am and what I'm doing and who I'm with. So it's great.
Hey, could you copy that and Facebook message it to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I tell you what's neat is I try to do 8 hours or 500 miles is about all the traveling I can do. And funny enough, between military contacts and subscribers and whatever, I'm never 500 miles away from somebody I know. So it always works out great.
That is a good way to be. We try to stick between Gatlinburg and Atlanta with the car filmings that we do. And like I said, we went a little out of our range last year. We went to the Birmingham, Alabama World of Wheels. Got a lot of good footage there, but we're not planning on doing that again this year because it's quite a ways away. And yeah, there's some really good stuff that we filmed up in the Gatlinburg area and just around here. And there's no way we can, when car show season starts again, which is coming up soon, there's no way we can cover all the children's charity car shows and all the veterans charity car shows that are around here in the area. So we don't even try going any further out of our area because of that. Even though sometimes we get offers for some paying jobs, some And by paying jobs, I mean, you know, we film we film the charity car shows for free and put them up on our channel to try to get them more and more traffic. And we film sometimes a certain number of cars. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once.
No, I
a
got
certain number of cars while we're there as a donation
So
to the charity.
works.
And then the rest of them are paid filming.
Welcome.
And then we move on to the next show. And in between filmings, we will shout out these shows on the calendar. We'll show the calendar. We'll shout out the shows, which I missed. Because my calendar's over there. Somehow it got away from me tonight. I will get to that. And shout out these events. And sometimes we feature the event coordinators here on the #Insanefriends show.
Right.
To help them get more traffic so they can get more charity.
I wanted to share with you one of my horror stories, because you know those are out there also.
What are the filming horror stories? Yeah, sometimes sometimes you got a bad filming day.
Yes, well, sometimes people will invite you to a place, and you think, okay, great, I'll be accommodating, I'll show up, and I won't tell you where it is because I don't want to offend anybody. But they're having a cruise in at this particular place, little car club, what have you. Great cars, great cars, great cars. So I'm going around to each individual, and could you tell me about your car? The guy, and it's a great Camaro, beautiful paint job, tricked out. Could you tell me about your car? He goes, the guy goes, no, I'm good. And I even made comments that that's the first time I've ever seen a Camaro guy to pass up the opportunity to brag on his car. So, so then I went, an older gentleman had a first-gen Mustang. And I said, sir, can you tell me about your car? He goes, well, I wouldn't know what to say. I said, well, first-gen Mustang. And I went down the deal. He goes, well, why don't you just do it? So,
wow. Nobody
wanted to be
make your car famous, and then you want me to do, yeah, okay. That's
well. Here's the thing, as a content creator, I go to these places and I tell people nobody can tell your story better than you can. That's just God's honest truth. Nobody can tell your story better than you can, and you don't want somebody like me and making stuff up, because in a pinch, I will. So, because who would know? But yeah, definitely when you have someone giving you an opportunity to talk, do it.
Well, me, I've run into so many people that were camera shy about getting on there and talking about their car and stuff. And the other half of the time when I run into a problem like that, it's not them being camera shy or not wanting to say anything. We have had some really good people just give these wonderful explanations about their car, and it sounds so great. And we get back and we go to put it in the video, and there's copyrighted music in the background, or there's I hate to pin it on younger people, but the only times it has happened, it's been teenage boys in the background cussing.
Sure.
And I can't use that on my channel. I can't use that audio. And so I lose that audio. And a couple of some really famous people that took out their time to, give us these great interviews out there in public, and we had it all on film and then couldn't use the audio. And so I got into this habit of, you'll notice a lot of my videos have this narration where I'm the one explaining the car, and it's because out of frustration mostly of not being able to use the audio.
You have to give the owner of the car an opportunity. This actually happened last year up at Wellborn Muscle Car Museum. This guy looked and sounded like Hulk Hogan, 6'8". What's going on, brother? Hulkamania's running wild. This type guy. He's like, yeah, me and my wife got together, brother, and we put this car. So hold on, man, let me put the camera on this. This sounds like a great story. Oh, no problem, brother. And action. I was like, what happened to this? soon as that
Yeah.
camera hit him,
Well, having
he
all
was
that
3 feet
energy,
tall.
all that
It was
wonderful
insane.
energy.
And
Yeah,
it's very frustrating.
yeah. And then you're in the
Been there.
unenviable position of when their car video comes out, you know, you're wondering, are they gonna call me out and ask me why I didn't use their audio and why I didn't put them up
Hey,
here?
hey, how you doing? Long time no see.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
So, you know, for me, just getting in the habit of going ahead and doing the extra work and narrating it for them. And we even went as far as to make a cheat sheet with questions on it about their car for them to fill out while I'm filming their car. So I'll have the information and stuff. And then that way, if they are good enough and not camera shy and stuff, and we do get
I
to
have
film.
done a few good videos.
Oh yeah, there were some
Good
really good ones that we did
interviews.
get with the interviews. Yeah, and it's usually when she's asking the questions that the interviews turn out the best. That she's really good at making the people really comfortable on the camera and answering the questions. But
I'm hearing another
and
line.
then, but you still have the problem if somebody goes by with blaring copyrighted music or something like that. And we've had a few people that right in the middle of a really good interview, they would crank up the car nearby. And then, you know, normally that would be, oh, wow, some really great exhaust noise and really good revs for the video and stuff, but not in the middle of an interview.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the gentleman. He's from Montgomery, Alabama. His name's Derek. I'm going to just throw his name out there. His real name's Derek, and he's called the Black Scat Pack because he has a red Plymouth. No, I'm just kidding. He has a Black Scat Pack, and but that's the name of his channel, the Black Scat Pack. So we're doing a collab, and he had his nephew with him. Same deal. We're trying to talk about our cars. We got them nose to nose. We're trying to do, and his nephew is in there. I think he was probably, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, and he's just redlining this car, and just drowns us out. And again, very frustrating. It sounded great, but not over.
But at the wrong time. Exactly. At the very wrong time. Yeah, both of those things would have been great to have. That's kind of like, I look at this like the exhaust and the interviews as something like macaroni and cheese and chocolate. I love macaroni and cheese. I love chocolate. I don't like them together.
Sure.
Don't put my chocolate in my macaroni.
Drinking.
Don't put my exhaust noise in the awesome interview.
Well, that was the whole thing with my car. I used a little movie magic with mine. I just did a little walk around of the blue car that I've christened Easy Living since I don't really work. So it is what it is. But anyway, I'm walking around the car and I'm like, man, that thing sounds really good. Well, I'm going to tell on myself. I use a little bit of what I call movie magic. I took a wireless mic and stuck right there next to the exhaust, and it was right up, you know what I'm saying? So it gave it more of a throaty sound or a lopey sound that's not normally there, because I do a lot of live vlogs while I'm driving down the road, and the engine noise was such that I had to put baffles in the car or underneath the car to kind of curb a little bit of the drone. So it is what it is.
Yeah, you get that both ways. I mean, sometimes you've got this really nice exhaust note in the driver's seat of a vehicle, and you're thinking this audio is going to sound awesome.
Sure.
And then you go do the playback and you listen, and it sounds mousy and meek.
It does.
And other times, you know, you're thinking, well, this is okay exhaust note. It's kind of medium. And I'll tell some stuff about the car. And so you've got the camera in there and you're sweeping over the interior and you're telling about the car with the exhaust note in the background. And then you look at it later and the exhaust note that seemed fine when you were there is now deafening and you can't hear any of your audio.
Exactly.
You hear just enough of it to mess up the exhaust note. And now the exhaust note's no good. The narration's no good. Neither one of them's any good.
Well, I have a video on my channel. Me and Snyder sitting around the campfire, and John, if you're watching this back at any point, John's like a little kid. He just kind of does his own thing. So we're sitting around the campfire, and he points out and he goes, "Reckon how wet it is out there." So long story short, he ends up in my car, and he's sliding it around like he's Bo Duke again. And of course, I'm filming him and whatever. But again, the audio was not optimal. So once he gets done sliding the car around, he pulls up and says, "Normal human beings can't do that. With a Duke boy, we know some stuff." And the audio is so faint, just can't really tell what he says unless you know that's what he says. So it's one of those things that you kind of missed out on.
Yeah.
And, but that's also
you're filming it, you're like, man, that's great. That's gonna be awesome on the video. And then you're watching it on replay and you're like, man, that did not come out right.
Right. Good times. But that's when you dub music over them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which early in life, I hated to do, but I'm a lot more comfortable with it now because I'm starting to get lazy. I'm not going to fight it. You know, a lot of times, we'll do, which you do yourself, we'll do a voiceover or whatever. But, with certain videos, it's like, I don't know, maybe some nice piano music.
Yeah, I do. I usually do both. I do when I'm doing my voiceover. I'll do a very low music that doesn't have a lot of peaks and valleys. It's just kind of a even low music. Well, yeah, and it's almost like a eulogy because sometimes those videos die a slow death.
Well,
I'm speaking from experience. Yeah, if you don't believe me, ask me.
what was your favorite video to film?
Z Outlaw SS. Hey, how you doing?
My favorite video to film. It's been a lot. My favorite video to film was the reaction video. I'm in Cuba, Missouri, a year or so back. I'm in Cuba, Missouri, and I run into these Belgian bikers who are doing Route 66. And this guy named DeWitt wanted to drive my car. And of course I said yes. And he's like, "Do you mind if I drive it like I stole it?" Well, yeah, let's go. Well, it's 30 mile an hour speed limits. And we're doing probably 110 before we get 100 yards down the road. We're blowing through stop signs, red lights. He's laughing like the devil over there. And I've never let anybody drive my car at all at that point. And I'm about to tear the cushion out of the seat and the dash, just trying to, you're holding on to the damn it wheel and
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. So he slides it around, we get back to the hotel we're staying at. We were staying at the Wagon Wheel Motel right there on Route 66. So he does a few donuts, he pulls in, and while he jumps out, he's bragging on the car. Well, on the water tower out there that says Cuba, Missouri, you can see the blue lights flickering off of. They're hunting us. So yeah, that was a good video. Great to see you in the chat, Soda City Works and Z Outlaw SS, emergency vehicles, trains, aircrafts, etc. Horses Shop, TriStar Travelers.
First in chat. Go
Yes, he
figure.
was.
I don't know how that happens.
Charles Starnes is here. Tom Reed. Tom Reed. I know that guy. Carol Sane's in the chat. Who's that?
I don't know.
Is that the queen of the car scene herself? Tom Reed.
That's some girl who likes you. That's who that is.
There's quite a few more people in the watching. If y'all feel like sounding off in the chat, I'll shout you out too. Yeah. Well, you got to watch that Tom Reed guy. I think he's kind of got a filthy mouth, so you have to kind of scream what he says. Well, we've got a really good moderator over here.
And if I miss
that's the problem. He's pretty moderate. Yeah, we've got quite a few other moderators in here too. They'll jump on that. They'll go all full on Captain America on them.
Yeah.
I think the problem is he goes Captain Morgan.
Yeah, Tom Reed.
Now, what was the worst video you ever filmed?
I tell you what, I'm not going to say worst, but I will say difficult. One of the most difficult videos to do because I had to hard edit so much was Tom Wopat. That was a hard edit. He's a great guy, but he's just tough to interview because he's kind of a guarded guy, but a great guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's tough to interview, and I'm in my mid 40s, and you feel like, because I've never been a starstruck guy or whatever around celebrities all the time, but he just makes you feel like you're 10 years old. I mean, it's just like, and not in a giddy way, in an awkward way. So, but yeah, but Tom was great.
So what's a couple of their favorite cars that you filmed?
Favorite cars? Naturally, obviously, I was at the multi-county Cancer Support Network in Winchester, Tennessee, back in September. It was a 1972 Roadrunner 340. I want to say it's a 340 car. It was in mint condition or close to mint. This guy's uncle had passed away and left it to him. It was it had the tank stripes across the hood, strobe stripe on the back, the go wing on the back, yellow and black interior. Beautiful car, and set up just the way you would like a Roadrunner. So that was probably my favorite car.
I'd have to say one of our favorites was the Plymouth Barracuda, 71 Plymouth Barracuda.
Those are good.
And it was last year. It was at both the Chattanooga World of Wheels and at the Birmingham World of Wheels.
It's called the Hulk.
Yeah, it is called the Hulk, and it is autographed by Lou Ferrigno, the real Hulk. Not that CG thing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The real.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you don't believe that, if anybody doesn't believe that Lou Ferrigno is the real Hulk, let him come crashing through a wall in a room that you're in and running straight towards you, and see if you don't suddenly believe that that man is the actual Hulk. That'll make a believer out of you right in there. Yeah, fucker factor be high.
Kool-Aid man. Whatever. I dig it.
But yeah, and the other one of the other ones is right behind us right now.
Yeah, that's the
it's hard to see it.
War
right
Memorial.
There. The Vietnam Memorial three-wheeler. Yeah.
Awesome vehicle, that one.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you the worst car I've ever filmed, and I'll tell you where I seen it. It was in Andalusia. It was in Andalusia, Alabama, and it was the funniest thing. You couldn't put your hand anywhere on. It wasn't even a car show. I was just filming inside that town that day, and it was old Regency 98, and it was crashed down both sides. The roof was caved in. It was a moving violation. And I say it's like, well, no way that that somebody drives that. And no sooner than I said that, the gentleman came out of the business, got in that car and started it up and drove down the road in it. But you can find that on one of my videos also. I will leave a link for that. That was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, we have a few on our channel that we call Rev. they're random, exceptional vehicles that we find in the wild, and some of them are exceptional because they're on the really good end of the spectrum, exceptional, and like what you were describing, some of them are exceptional because they're on the really bad end of the spectrum. But either way, they're not dull, they're not boring. There's something very unique about every one, and we haven't released all of those videos yet because we have a backlog of videos, but we have some of those already on the channel and quite a few still in the hard drive waiting to be rendered, and quite a few more videos from the car shows and everything else.
Well, I'll share with you also, since we're talking about cars. Another car I had earlier in life, the guy was selling it for $50. It was a 1974 Dodge Coronet 318 car. It was my favorite. It was
we actually had one of those.
it was my favorite color. It was that metallic gold, almost like a olive green metallic. Had a white vinyl top, of course, bright green interior. And anyway, with a stock 318 hubcaps and all that, what have you, I put 360 heads. That's back when you could work on. Remember back when old Yellow was a pup, you could actually work on a vehicle. But I put 360 heads on that thing, and it to a Chevrolet guy, it looked just like a stock 318. And a buddy of mine had a 350 pickup truck. And I'd eat him up by about 18 car lengths. Of course, he would tear that old truck down. He never did figure out how that stock 318 was tearing his butt up. And up until right now, I've never told that story.
Well, y'all heard it here first on the hashtag Insanefriends show on Saneauto.
Yep. So, cheater.
Yeah, we had an old Dodge Coronet back in Atlanta when we were both very young for a little while. But it was just a slant
We're
six car.
still young.
You are.
What are you talking about?
Right.
You kept all the youth.
Yeah, it's just wasted on young anyway. I hear that.
Yeah, it's
What I
more
hear, I
fun
wouldn't know.
now.
It's true. So what else is on your page there that you would like to pick my brain with? Because I'll tell you a story. It may or may not be true. And that's another thing. Well, that's the thing about may or may not be true. That could apply to anything, right?
Right.
Anything could may
That,
not
that
be.
is
right.
that is why we're in the South.
Yeah.
Facts may or may not be true.
That's right.
Yep. Even though some of the most interesting ones usually turn out to be true.
Buster Tim, hi.
Buster Tim,
how
it's
you
great to see you. Does anybody in the chat have a question for our guest tonight? In the meantime, what is one of your favorite cars that you had in the past?
Favorite car that I had in the past.
And what car do you want to have that you don't have?
Okay, let's go with the favorite car that from my past. I had a 72 Sebring Plus, which is either the Sebring or the Roadrunner or the GTX, but that body style. But I had a 72 Sebring Plus. It was a 318 car, and I love that car. And it was petty blue with a white stripe on it. Beautiful car. And I was going north on I-49 there in Louisiana, and the thermostat stuck on it. And I thought, hey, I don't want to burn my car up. So I pulled it up on the side of the road, and I thought about sleeping in the car, but there's a lot of crazies out there on the road. So what do? I hitchhike with a stranger. Don't do any of that, Paul Michael, if you're watching. But anyway, I get down the road, and some friends of mine, they're going to give me a ride back. When we get back, it's state troopers and stuff everywhere. Cars are backed up. And an 18-wheeler had left the roadway and struck that blue car and shoved the back quarter panel into the glove box.
Oh,
Now,
no.
had I been asleep in that car, we wouldn't be having this interview nunced.
Woo! So that
yeah.
saved your life right there.
Yes, it did. I'm
I
telling
was kind of weighing
I'm a
the
touring guy.
crazy sleeping in the car and getting in somebody's car thing that apples and oranges. Both are crazy.
Yeah. Turned out to be the right decision, though.
It did.
Woo! What a close one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I've been placed in. I've been placed. I have put myself in dire situations that I've always seemed to get out of through,
Well,
just charmed.
I always say that all those times that I woke up in the hospital, it could have been worse.
Yeah, you ever see that?
Woke up.
Mach 1, how you doing, Mr. Mach 1?
Hey, Mr. Mach 1, it's great to see you back in the chat. My Mach 1 brother right there.
Can we take a quick commercial break? We plug your channel for just a
Oh,
minute.
yeah. Well, it's Saneauto. And we also have our sister channel is Sane Enterprises. Here we talk about all kind of car stuff. We do repair videos, tool reviews, show cars, car shows. Do, of course, the Sane Sunday Live every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here on Wednesday nights at 7:30, we do the hashtag Insanefriends show. We are the founders and proprietors of the hashtag Insanefriends live calendar, where we promote everyone that participates in the hashtag Insanefriends live calendar and support each other. And
we have a viewer question. Out of all your travels, what was your favorite place to visit?
if you want to see any of our questions answered or our videos on sales or management or making money online, any of that stuff, it's all on our Sane Enterprises channel. We don't do any of that here. And then, of course, Carol Sane has her Carol Sane channel. She reads children's book and does all kinds of stuff for children over there. And
I also talk about plants.
Right.
And I plant things.
Right here in the Appalachian Mountains.
In dirt. Make things grow.
Yeah, so we do.
Paul Michael's General Lee video. Smitty, how do you usually prepare for an interview?
Well, before I get to that, I will answer the most interesting place that I've filmed. I have two. But one of the more interesting places that I filmed was I think we talked about earlier, was before we went live, was the Civil War cemetery on the northern side. And being from the South, I'd never really been in that environment and heard their side of it. So that was interesting for me. And also, everybody has heard, the second place, everyone has heard of the Younger Gang and Jesse James and what have you. Well, the Younger Gang hideout caves, we went and filmed inside those caves, and that was kind of a cool deal. And once the weather gets a little more optimal, we're going to go back and actually spend the night in the caves and some clips and maybe dress up like cowboys and make a little short film. So that's kind of cool.
What state is that in? Where the caves are?
Andy, chime in. I think I want to. So, hey, just Google Wopat. I think it was in Missouri. I think it's in Missouri.
Okay.
Maybe North Arkansas, but I'm thinking Missouri. I apologize, folks. I'm somewhere different every day. So
Paul Michael's General Lee, awesome videos. Ask Smitty, how do you usually prepare for an interview?
Yeah, well, I think he's wanting to know, do you hang out with Jack Daniels or?
Well,
before the interview.
Well, no, it depends on what it's for, Paul.
No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
No. Here's the thing. My thing is, it really depends on the interview. When some people will give you warm-up questions and we kind of stay on topic, just like when I'm interviewing certain people. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about your upcoming projects, and I kind of stay right in their comfort zone, and I don't delve too far back or too far ahead, because a lot of people in their interviews want to stick on current events. I'm going to use Snyder, for example. A lot of people well, it's easy to, I'm saying it's more relevant stuff. A lot of times that I've noticed that Snyder will be interviewed, somebody will be talking about stuff from the from the 70s and 80s. Well, that's all fine to dwell on that or bring that up, but we're working on current projects, so that would be something that you would want to stay closer to the cuff on. So to answer your question on how do I prepare, I just sit and listen, and I try to answer as honest as I can. That's one of my sayings. Most of my answers is about 30% truth, 100% of the time.
Me, I just go me, you, and go.
Perfect.
So, how long have you been doing the filming of the cars and stuff for your YouTube channel?
Well, unfortunately, I've not been doing just car shows for any length of time. It's kind of sporadic, and it usually works out. If I do one car show, I wind up doing about 5 back to back to back, because I will meet somebody such as yourself or whatever. And matter of fact, a gentleman reached out to me just today and said, "Hey, I've got this really great car that was, and you know the car I'm talking about. Got this really great car that was underneath the water there in Hurricane Katrina."
Yeah, the Mustang.
Yes,
the Mustang.
that thing. And of course I'm gonna go do that car. That's a great story.
Yep.
And I just segue into stuff like that and try to. It's like, I tell you what, making videos is a lot like surfing. So you get up and you catch the wave, and you ride that for as long as it rides, and then you hop on another wave. But you will have that dead time with the ebb and flow, and I think it's a great analogy.
Right.
So
right, and when you first start out your YouTube channel, you're going to be in the surf. You're going to be in the surf before you catch any waves, and you're going to have a difficult time.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I tell people. Like anybody that's starting a channel, prepare to be terrible for the first little while, because you don't know nothing about nothing, But just be yourself. Practice, and then you just get comfortable just talking.
Yep, and listen to your mistakes and change. Be willing to change.
That's right. Tom Reed, you got a question, buddy?
He says, my favorite Smitty video is when door got dinged on the black Challenger. Definitely check that one out.
I'll tell you what about that. I have a story with that. Is me and the Black Scat Pack, we're going to do a video on that Scat Pack that got dinged. But it looked just like Scat Pack's car. So we were going to make a little, I don't know, what do you call it, a parody video. It's like, oh, so the Black Scat Pack fan club. This guy's such a fan of your channel. He bought a car just like yours.
Really? Why?
Well,
Sorry.
I think it was this gentleman's dad or granddad opened the door up on that car while it's still on the trailer and just opened it like, and it could only open about 6 inches. But yeah, it put a big old crease in a trailer car, and hate to have ruined it for you guys, but that's what the video is about. You don't even have to click on it.
Michael's got a question about editing. We want to welcome One Wheel E back to the chat. How are you doing? And he's got a question about editing and what you would recommend. I recommend DaVinci. That's what I've been learning. I got that from Camaro Time. I have to give him credit. Camaro Time turned me on to the DaVinci software. I had been using Windows Movie Maker for a long time, and Windows Movie Maker is very, very user-friendly. It's easy to learn. It's very user-friendly.
But
once you've learned everything, yeah, it's limited. Once you've learned everything it can do, then you can't do anymore, no matter how much you learn. And DaVinci is harder to learn, but once you've learned how to do all the stuff you can do in Windows Movie Maker, then there's so much more editing you can do.
So you mean it's like driving a bicycle or driving a sports car?
Yep.
Yeah. The sports car will do a lot more. It's harder to learn, but it'll do a lot more. And the DaVinci, you can start out with a free software, or you can get the full version, both of which I have on my Sane Enterprises page. I have some tutorials on DaVinci software, and I put the links in my description of the DaVinci software.
What? Now let me
free, and both a link to the $2.99. I think is the full version, a one-time fee of $2.99, and you can have the whole thing.
Well, also let me just throw in there though. Only buy what you think you're going to utilize. And I'll just throw that out there. If you're just going to go to the store to get groceries, don't need a Ferrari. So if you're doing minimal small videos, then some of the smaller packages is really all you utilize. So no use to spend, because all right, you've seen these YouTubers go out and buy 50 grand worth of camera equipment. They got 75 lenses and they can see a gnat's butt on the moon. But when it gets down to it, you really don't need all that stuff.
Yeah. So I can attest to that. I mean, a lot of times I'm going to the car shows and stuff now, and I've got the expensive camera equipment, and I'm getting these shots and those shots and this video with the DSLR and that video with DSLR. But more and more gone back to the newer phone, and I hold that newer phone sideways and I sweep around, and I've got a really nice, what is that thing called? Stabilizer that I bought that holds the phone, which is way more expensive to get a stabilizer that'll hold the big Nikon. Get a stabilizer that'll hold the phone, and I use that stabilizer to get that, big, expensive camera quality picture out of my phone, and I've got the expensive camera right there. But the autofocus isn't as good on my expensive camera as it is on the phone now. And as long as I'm close up to where I don't need that really big lens, it's fine. So you got to know what you can use it for and what you can't. And if you're doing a lot of close-up shots and stuff, just use your phone. Just use your phone. And another thing I was going to mention is on the same point you were making, I have the same opinion. And that's like the DaVinci has a free version. You should start with that. And on TubeBuddy, TubeBuddy is the best, most helpful thing you can possibly have for your YouTube channel, to help you out with tasks and make tasks quick and easy. And there's a free version of the TubeBuddy, and there's a link to that free version of the TubeBuddy in every description of every video I make.
Right.
And,
Tom Reed wants to know, Smitty, what was the longest distance you've had to walk while at an event you were filming?
I'd love to have a pedometer.
All right, me and a buddy of mine, I flew him down from New York. I had him meet me there in New York, or from New York, meet me in Houston for Fandemic a few months ago. Of course, it's all the Boondock Saints guys, and just celebrities of all shape and color. Of course, Snyder was there, and so anyway, we get there, and we're going to go find an adult beverage place, bar, what have you. And you would think downtown that would just be on any street corner in Houston, but not today. We coined this. We walked and walked and walked. We're both military guys, and so we coined that the Mogadishu 10-miler, and we walked every bit of it too. But yes, yeah, Mogadishu 10-miler. That is pretty good. So excellent question.
And he asked, do you ever encounter annoying people while you are filming?
Now, who asked that?
Tom.
Can you? Oh. Yeah. Can you answer that without any cuss words?
Okay. Yeah, okay. We asked the tough questions. On the back of my car, I have a big, huge billboard on the back of the car, on the back glass. Smitty Travels, where I'll be next. And I was up in New York, and I had stopped off at this pub, and my phone goes off. So I look at it, and it says, "Hey, is this Smitty Travels?" Matter of fact, it is. Also wanted to know if I was at such and such bar that I was sitting in front of. Yes, I am. Can I come meet you? So it came to the point. Well, anyway, the guy's name's John Snyder, but it's John Snyder, Snyder. Go figure. Small world. So anyway, the guy shows up, and he hangs out and what have you. And then he makes his own YouTube video. And I have these little cards. I don't have one in my hand, strange enough. But anyway, I have these little cards that I hand out. The only place to get them is hand to hand. So it has instructions right on the card because I do giveaways and what have you. And he took this card and laid it, and I don't know if he stapled it or glued it or whatever to a piece of loose leaf paper. And he gets as far as I and crosses that out. Well, you're only one word in, so you're not really that you're not that invested. Just get another sheet of paper, but he didn't. He X's it, he scribbles it out, and it was the Lord forgive me. It was the worst chicken scratch that I ever seen in my life. He'd spelled it out. I hate drinks with Smitty Travels. We had 5 drinks here and all this stuff. And anyway, so he gives this long thing of what do you call that? Oh Lord, he gives this presentation, big long presentations about it. And but yeah, he gave a moment by moment tell all video on how many drinks I had and where we or Hayed. He spelled it Hayed. So yeah. But anyway, me and my buddy did a little reaction video to that video, and this was terrible. He closed his whole channel down because he thought we were making fun of him, and I really wasn't. But yeah, he deleted his whole YouTube channel.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be really careful.
You have to be. People thin skin, man. You know,
Yep.
A lot of people. Well, just like in your video, somebody will leave a thumbs down, and then they'll leave like a nastygram in there, and that's not necessary. You know, not everything I put out is going to be a slam dunk. If you didn't like this video, just move on.
Yep.
You know, no need to give nastygrams.
I want to give Bub's Vacation a shout out tonight. He's I know a lot of people know this and a lot of people don't. He works for a heat and air company, and right now the big thing is it's very, very cold everywhere.
Yeah.
Cold has descended upon the earth. And so he's been a very busy man lately.
Working.
Yep, he's been working out in that freezing cold way too much. And bless his heart, he still managed to show up for the live. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Yep. Thanks for joining us and all.
So I had another question. What was the other question? Oh.
Well, while you're thinking about that, you didn't ask where I grew up, and I'll just go ahead and tell you. I grew up in central Louisiana. And it's really an interesting place, central Louisiana, because you either are born north of the Red River or south of the Red River. So if you're born north of the Red River, you might talk just a little more nasal like this right here, you know. Or if you're south of the Red River, you know, you talk a little more like this right here, man. So you have, I'm not going to call them hillbillies by any, but they're real country folk that is in my family. And they don't even open their mouth.
You're in the South. You wouldn't believe that would happen.
Well, it's true though. But I have this uncle that I was watching him one day, and I'd always catch him working on his old pickup. He had an extended cab, long wheelbase Ford pickup, and he was always working on it. And I'd watch him throwing tools, and that would usually be the time I'd go down and jack with him. And so I'd say, Randy, what's going on? Buck down, I tell you what, I've been working on this dang old truck, man. I done lost about half my tooth, man. You know, like Boomhauer. So, yeah. But yeah, he would say little funny stories, you know, just like this kind of stuff. And I say, what happened to you kind of stuff? He said, Uncle Johnny and Tommy Joe came over here the other day. And Tommy Joe had his finger in his nose sticking off in my skull can. I told him he just gonna keep that shit, man. Pardon my language, but yeah. But that's the way the guy talked all the time. No bloodkin.
Well, I'm kind of from everywhere. That's why I don't really have the habit of asking people where they're from.
Go figure, a damn Yankee in the South.
Because it's a really hard question for me to answer. And you never know. Because I was born on the Air Force Base in '67. Of course, you know, being a military man.
No, it was in 87.
But that was the bloodiest year of the Vietnam War, and every male member of our family was in it. And my dad stayed in the longest. So I was in Little Rock, Arkansas, the air base there, for all of 2 weeks before we were at Warner Robins. And then there was Dobbins Air Force Base, and on and on and on. And even when we finally had our first civilian home, which was downtown Atlanta, at one of my, I think it was my grandmother's house, but it was so downtown Atlanta. They call it Midtown now, and it's a fancy place. But back then it wasn't. Back then it was mattresses on the front walls, and my uncle stayed in the back watching old black and white TV in the very back of the house. Because if you heard something that sounded like a gunshot outside, you didn't know if it was a backfire or a gunshot, and you sure as heck weren't going out there to find out. And gunshots go right through walls, but they not so much through mattresses. So there were mattresses up against those front walls. And but that was my first civilian home. It was quite a shock from going from living on base to downtown Atlanta. And then there was lots of other places. I think I went to the longest I went to a school was like 8 months before I was in another one.
Yes,
just all over the place.
Absolutely. And that is just a different animal. A lot of the military kids, well, they think everybody's lived in Japan, and they think everybody's lived in Europe, and they think, you know what I'm saying, because most of their friends have, and then you take them and put them in a public school, and they're like, so yeah, it's different. It is a different animal.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Well, Paul Michael's generally awesome video says, Smitty, who was the best person to interview?
Paul Michael. Again, love interviewing Paul Michael. He's such a bright, energetic young man. And I'll just go ahead and put this out there. He's 9 years old, and he doesn't realize what a charmed life he lives. He goes on stage with Tom Bresh. He goes on stage with Cody McCarver and sings with him. Hangs out with me. Hangs out with John Snyder. He doesn't. Not all 9-year-olds get to do that, son. I think it's amazing. And you're going to look back on these times on just how amazing a time you had as a child. And I hope you great luck with all your endeavors. But enjoy right now, because this is something special.
I remember my mom dragging me around to places, and we'd be backstage with all of these beautiful women. And I was of that age where I didn't want them touching me. I didn't want them hugging on me. I didn't want them pinching my cheeks and stuff. And then by the time
we got over that,
years, all that was over. And I started realizing what a huge opportunity I'd missed.
Now, Tom Reed asked, did Smitty ever hear about a trailer house getting stolen? His next comment, I've heard trailer houses get stolen in Louisiana.
I don't know if I want to tell the story or not. I don't know how much truth is in this, but I'll tell the story.
It's not that bad when somebody steals your trailer house. What's bad is when they steal your trailer house while you're in it.
While you're in it? Yeah, while you're in it. Well, okay, I'll tell you the story. I'm down in Holden, Louisiana, and this old boy, local guy, he sees my car out there, and we're talking about it and what have you. And the same story I told earlier had just occurred earlier in the day. I said, yeah, Snyder was just sliding that around. He goes, John Snyder? I was like, yeah. Oh, I ain't got no use for him. I was like, I'm sorry. He goes, yeah, he stole my buddy's trailer house. So in my mind, John backed up to it. I'm thinking of this, which that didn't happen. But I think the story goes During the flood, John had allowed somebody to stay down there, and they didn't pay the rent, and they lost their trailer or whatever. I think that's the way the story, but I don't even know if this guy was even telling the truth. You know, I'm gonna go.
Well,
I know
all we know is that
maybe he was lying through his teeth.
what he was making it out to be.
What was
Yeah.
his reaction like? I am you, Graham. Well, yeah, that's pretty funny though. Good story. I don't know how Tom Reed knows that story. I think that's an alias.
It could be. Who knows? It is YouTube.
The guy's name's probably Reed Tom for real. Switched it up on us.
I know most of the time when we lived on base, there was nice base housing on most of the bases we lived on. And we lived in a nice house. Mm-hmm. And it was a nice neighborhood right there at base. And there's usually a playground or something in the middle that doubled for a, baseball field and football field and stuff. And it was dirt and stuff, it was the 70s, the 60s and 70s. So, but that every once in a while, we would move to a base and all they had available was trailers, and all the houses were taken up, and we were lucky to get a trailer.
Sure.
Otherwise, you got to use the and go find your own place,
right?
And commute. So we stayed in a few trailers that way, and some of them were nicer than houses, and some of them were just OMG.
Yeah, they kind of look like
better off in a tent backyard.
Well, my funniest base housing story is I was in Ansbach, Germany, at Katterbach Kaserne, and I lived on Sergeant Major Circle. So my home was here, and the Sergeant Major from Illesheim lived right across the street. Of course, our Sergeant Major and all this lived right there too. And I wanted to build a fire, have a fire pit. And I wasn't for sure if we could have one, but I went on. I said, well, if I'm not supposed to have one, someone will tell me to put it out. So we have a big bonfire out in the backyard on base. And the next night, Sergeant Major has one ablazing. So the next night I have one. So the next night he has one. So I'll just walk over and say, Sergeant Major, is it all right if I have a fire? He goes, well, Smitty, I seen you had one. I figure it's okay.
Oh no, I got me knocked out of here.
You did?
Yeah, when you do that?
Well, you're trying to reconnect. This right here is what I'm talking about on the houses. I don't know if you can see the houses good in the background there.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel's got great vision, but yeah, I see them. Yeah.
That's my aunt's brand new car. She just bought that car that year, and that's my grandmother and granddad. My mom had to have surgery, and so they came and got me and my sister. I'm the one, my granddad's holding me over there. And those houses in the background, the one behind the camera looks exactly the same as those houses across the street. And that was one of the nicest places we lived at. Dad was pretty high ranked at the time, and we got pretty good housing.
Did y'all do any, did y'all ever live down in Puerto Rico? I was down there back in the early 70s also.
I don't remember all the places I lived at or what the names were, because I was pretty young most of the time. And I just started the last couple of years, just started getting to where I could form long-term memories. And before we left, because I was born on base, so there was quite a few years there. I was just like so young that I didn't even form memories.
Right.
And then there were memories that I had that I thought were dreams and stuff. And then I would ask one of my parents about, or one of my uncles or something, and they were like, no, that's not a dream. That really happened. They'd fill in the gaps and they'd tell me the story and everything. And I'd be like, oh, wow, I thought that was just a dream.
Funny enough. And
Michael really wants to know how many places you've been.
Oh, son.
I bet that's just as hard a question for you as it would be for me.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Just say it's a lot. You know, because not yeah, I tell everybody that I've flown with the Eagles and I've stood with the Snakes and been everywhere in between. So, but to piggyback off of what you're talking about it being a dream, me and my mother sit down a few years ago and did the same thing. It's, you know, I'm telling things and she's like, how do you remember the same exact story? How do you even remember that? You know, because you were just small. So,
yeah, it comes back to you.
And you're right. As we get older, we start drawing back on stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, just some brain cells that we hadn't used for a long time. I guess some of our older brain cells start dying and we have to rely on these younger brain cells that come back to life.
Yeah.
Reviewing, playing, and more. It's nice to see you in the chat.
That's an outstanding way to put it.
Dennis is in Canada right now. I'm glad to see you in the chat for two reasons. I'm glad to see you, period. But I'm also glad to see that you're alive and you got power on and everything, because it's cold down here. It's got to be brutal up there, Dennis. Got to be brutal up there. Please tell us that you got plenty of heat and food and stuff and you're hunkered down.
I have a friend of mine that actually lives in Canada, and it usually takes her about 17 minutes to get home. And she said it took her almost 3 hours to get home the other night, a couple nights ago. And it's probably because everybody else was having trouble driving as well. So I think their roads were a little congested that day.
Tom Reed wants to know, do y'all ever get any interesting souvenirs from places that you filmed? Me, I
always get an interesting souvenir when I film something.
I consider the films and the pictures and stuff as my souvenirs. And I used to collect patches. And I had a pair of pants, blue jean pants that was just covered in patches from places I'd been, and a vest that was covered in patches. And I had to start another blue jean jacket that got quickly covered up in patches, and then I've got a few patches here and there in drawers all over the place that I never put on anything. That I just collected. Try to get these small patches when I go to places.
Well, I
quit doing that too.
Personal things that remind me of the event.
And she likes keychains.
Smitty?
Yeah. Well, I'll be real brief with that. Yes, and you see a doctor and get rid of
it. Well, if you look at any of my buildings or the house or the garage or the big parts van, anything, you would think that I collect car parts from all over the world. And I kind of do.
He just ships them all over the world.
Yeah, I'm kind of a car part magnet. And they just come to me, and I try to ship them out as fast as I can out all over the world, but they seem to still come to me faster than I can ship them out.
And I am glad to hear, RPM, that you are good up there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
He says, very cold before you say, you are a tough man, Dennis. You're a tough man. You take that cold and stride like that.
It's 19, 20 degrees here, and I'm crying.
Yeah. And if we were where you're at, Dennis, we'd be dying.
I mean, my poor dog, I've left him outside till the end of this stream, and I bet he's about half frozen.
Yeah, you might take a break and go rescue him.
I'm going to need the...
Yeah, you take a break and go rescue him, and I'll stay here with our guest.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I guess I was living. What I like to do is I'll go from place to place, and I'll pick a place and maybe rent a home or whatever, and use that as a hub. And I was living up in Pocatello, Idaho, and something that I picked up on that I don't get to do as much is I do online gaming. And a few of us is doing some online gaming one night, and then right in the middle of our full-fledged battle there online, all the power goes out. So I walk outside, and what had happened was someone had lost control and smacked a power pole and like just took it out of the ground and then kept driving. So we're walking out there, and it's a few of the local PD and EMS is out there and what have you. and they can't figure out who it was. And I said, well, that's easy, because the front cap of the truck, it was a full-size Ram pickup. The front cap was laying there, and the guy's bumper was there with the guy's tag on it. So then they just went to his residence and picked him up. But that was interesting.
Come in and say hello to everybody.
You gonna come say hello?
Hello. Hello. I'm a little doggy. I got my hat. I got my hat.
Dakota, you gonna come say something to the audience? Or you gonna stand over there and make noise? Come on.
Hi, big dog.
She's a lot bigger than the little one, so I think she thinks that she's responsible for him. He's got to be put away before she'll settle down and put to bed and fed and all that. She just keep making a fuss until he is.
Okay.
You okay now?
Dakota. Come here, baby. Come here, sweetie. Come here. Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie. Come here.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a big dog lover too. I prefer them with sweet potatoes. Just kidding. Just kidding. I usually keep one on either side of the fireplace. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Now, you ever film anything around the Appalachian Mountains?
Yes. Yes, I've been all over that area. Matter of fact, we are kicking around. I'm going to just go ahead and throw this out there while we're talking about the mountains. We are kicking around having a YouTuber content creator meetup sometime in September or August, somewhere thereabouts. A buddy of mine named, what is this channel name? Anthony's Adventures. Anthony's Misadventures. He's out of South Carolina. We're going to go up to Pigeon Forge and have a little meetup and have a lot of our fans and what have you show up. And that's going to be a good time. We did that last year also. They wanted to say
definitely
first annual, but I told him it was inaugural, but he wanted to name it first annual meetup. So potatoes.
Definitely put any announcements like that, and any of y'all in the chat too, any giveaways you want to do and stuff, go to the Saneauto Facebook page and post a link to that. You're welcome to post a link to your videos and stuff. I know a lot of people with their Facebook pages don't like that. I don't know why. I mean, but
I think it's all about network. It's silly.
I like it there. It's for all our YouTube friends, all our hashtag YouTube friends. Go ahead and post a link to your video, especially if you're having a giveaway or a meetup or something like that. It's the worst feeling in the world if you put together a meetup or a giveaway or something and half of the people show up that you actually wanted to.
Sure.
So I want you guys to be able to put something there on the Saneauto Facebook page, and there's already a lot of people on there. Facebook did a purge just like YouTube did recently. YouTube did a big purge. We have such a great audience that out of all our subscribers and everything, thousands of subscribers, we only lost 4 in the purge because they're so active. They come back to the channel and everything so much. That is great, and I really thank you guys for that. You guys are awesome, awesome viewers. The other thing is, on our Saneauto Facebook page, we have the same kind of viewers. A lot of them are the same people, and it's a lower amount. It's a few hundred, and even after the purge, we only lost a handful of when the Facebook purge happened. And I noticed a lot of the pages that I frequent to look at some other car stuff and things like that, some of them lost like half of whatever they don't call it subscribers on Facebook, but they're members on the Facebook page. They lost like half of their members. We just lost a small fraction, and we still have several hundred people coming to that Facebook page. So if you want your video to be seen, you want your giveaway to be known about, you want your meetup or event to be known about, put it on there and especially if it's a charity car show event like the children's charities and the veterans charities and stuff, because I'll see them on there.
Tracks. Hi.
And I may add them to the event calendar and shout them out there too. Now we mostly stick to the more local car shows and stuff, because like if I shout something out that's in Washington State, there probably not going to be a lot of people show up for that. But strangely enough, we have a lot of viewers in California and several places in Canada and stuff. So it just depends on where it's at, whether people are going to notice or not when we shout it out. And of course, Tennessee, Georgia, Michigan, with a lot of viewers in Michigan. So if there's an event in Michigan, you want people to know about it, I mean, we can get the word out for you.
Okay, now
making tracks. Woo!
How you doing? Sweetie cutie.
Mm-hmm.
It's time.
Are you getting tired?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have any more questions before we wrap it up, or anything else that you want to add before we go?
Well,
your channel. What about plans for your channel, your YouTube channel? Do you have any short-term plans of something that's coming up?
Short-term trips. Let me see. I will be in Birmingham on the, I'm gonna say the 9th. Yeah, the 9th of February, I'll be in Birmingham. The 13th of February, I will be in Tennessee with John Snyder. He's putting a show on. I don't know if I'll be doing any content, but I will definitely be there for that.
What part of Tennessee?
It's in Nashville. I'm sorry. It's in Nashville. Okay.
It's a big wide state.
Yeah, it is. I've been to Nashville a few times. I usually tell people I've seen on the map.
Too.
So I've been putting off a trip to the Disney parks. I still owe them, some people, a meetup down in the Orlando area. And then, of course, I will be in New York. The first part, I'll be in Evans Mills, New York, in the first part of March. And the last part of March, I'll be in North Louisiana, in Gina, Louisiana. And, of course, the first part of April, I'll be down at John Snyder Studios, Holden, Louisiana. Probably the 4th through the 9th is when I'll personally be there. Of course, the event is
for the 6th and the event that's going on the 6th and 7th of April, 2019.
So that is in the,
it's great to see you.
My goodness.
Kevin Bollingham has a question. He says, Smitty, what's your favorite car out of all the car shows you've been to?
Favorite car. Favorite car. Again, I think it'd probably be the 72 Roadrunner that gentleman had wheeled to him from his granddad or from his uncle. And if he's just joining the show, 1971 Plymouth Roadrunner. Yeah, 1971 Plymouth Roadrunner, 340 car, yellow with a black stripe, black interior, tank tracks on the hood, strobe on the back, go wing across the trunk. And big fat tires on the back. I love that aggressive stance.
Yeah, I like that stance too. Big tires on the back, a little bit of a pitch to the front. You'll see when you see my Mach 1, it's got that stance. That's like 70s drag racer stance.
If it's the same Kevin Bollingham that I'm thinking of, he is a Ford guy. He loves those Mustangs.
Yeah. I've had a Mustang fetish. I do like all kinds of cars, but I've always had some kind of big Ford or Mustang, and then a smaller, little more practical car. And then, of course, when I made more money, we got better at doing business and stuff. I had quite a collection, large collection, because we're doing 400 to 600 customer cars a year, and then another 12 to 15 fix-em-up cars. I called them fix-em-up cars because we just fixed them up to sell, and sold about half of them during tax season. The other half of them throughout the year, they'd sell slowly, and tax season coming, they just fly out. And then we would do 1 or 2 show cars during the same year, and we did that year after year after year. And I sold most of the show cars, but at the same time, accumulated a large collection of nice show cars. And then when I started having my health problems with my back and my surgeries with the hernias and stuff like that, and I couldn't work as much. Plus the transmission rebuilding industry went through a big thing like what the whole car industry is going through right now, with all these manufacturers overseas flooding the market with cheap reman units and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And so all that was happening at once. And so I just switched up, and the parts prices just kept going up and up and up. Well, I owned a parts store then too, but I hadn't paid much attention to it. And so I started paying more attention to it, and it started taking off. And then while I'm laid up with surgery, I started taking classes on how to sell stuff online. Sure. And I learned how to do this selling online stuff, and I built a pretty darn good business out of that. And so I don't have to get burnt, bruised, and bleeding anymore. I do sometimes still anyway, and I make videos about some of the stuff I do, but I don't have to do that day after day, 400 to 600 units a year, none of that kind of stuff anymore. Just do a fraction of that kind of stuff that I did.
Something that you did not ask me is the cars I currently own.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, like I say, I have it started life as a 2010 Dodge Challenger. And when they put the Demon on that Challenger frame, I figured all bets was off. They're not ever going to build a Roadrunner. So stripped it down and made myself a Roadrunner out of one of the newer cars. I took a lot of the key points that I liked from the 73 car I had and the 72 car and put them together. And I think what I came out with was a really great representation of what a car might look like today. And I have a video on that on my channel. But I also, don't beat me up, they kind of say it's a Hemi. I also have a BMW turbo diesel that I drive. And I have the 73 4-speed Roadrunner. I still have that. And I have an automatic car, a 73 Sebring Plus. It's an automatic car. No, they're not for sale, just before you ask.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had a pretty large collection. One of the things I had in my collection was a mid-90s. It was a 95 Mercedes diesel. Very, very nice shape, low mileage. And it was one of those kind of things where it's full-size diesel, full-size car, very luxurious. And you could get 800 miles to a tank full. This thing was averaging 35 miles to gallon in a big car.
Well, I've almost had an accident being a guy. Okay, when I'm out traveling in the blue car, usually I'll wait till I get down on 3/4 of tank, and that usually lets me go out and stretch my legs and fill up and go to the restroom and all that stuff. And while I'm out in the BMW, that thing, like I say, it gets 40, 50 miles a gallon. And I almost wet my pants waiting on it to get down to 3/4 of the tank, because that thing will go forever.
Exactly. So, I'm a big believer in it. If you're going to have some really cool cars and stuff, you need to have something practical in your driveway, in your collection, whatever. Mine slimmed down a lot. I did manage to hang on to at least an example of an import car, which I consider, my import car to be my Jaguar, my V12 Jaguar. It's not like a little souped up Honda or anything, but it's the kind of import that I like. The XJS with the V12 in it. I like that. I always like that.
My Mopar is imported from Canada.
I've got a GM, I've got a Corvette, and I've of course hung on to the Mach 1 Mustang that I drove the kids to school in and restored it 3 times, because the first 2 times I restored it, I was at varying levels of ability. And as I gained more certifications and got better at restoring cars and fixing cars and stuff, I would notice more mistakes that I had made. And I restored other cars and sold them, restored other cars and sold them. And then I'd look back at that Mustang and some of the other cars I'd done in them, but just like, I got to take that thing all apart and do it again.
Well, now people ask me all the time if I restore cars, and I say, sure I do. I stored it when I went to Korea, and I restored it when I went to Europe. That's about all the storing that I do.
Yeah. Well, some of my vehicles that I do, I either call it a fix-it-up car or a resurrection, because I returned it to alive, but not much more than that.
Sure.
You know, because I've seen and done restored cars, and a lot of the vehicles that I've done is nowhere near a restoration. In you know, to an untrained eye from 20 foot away, it might be a nice 20-footer, but it's not restored.
Well, sweetie, I'm going to have to get up and walk around, or I'm going to be asleep here.
Okay, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody in the chat got any announcements about what's going on your channel this next week? Anything upcoming on your channels? Any giveaways, any new videos, anything like that you'd like anybody to know? I know Reviewing, Playing, and More, Dennis here, he's got really close to selling one of his computers that he built.
And that's awesome.
And if you want to know anything about building computers or upgrading your computers or repairing your computers and stuff, he's really sharp on that kind of stuff. He's got lots of videos on it, and he's willing to answer questions and help you out if you need some help with picking a product or installing a product, something like that.
May I just throw a disclaimer in?
Go right ahead.
That are watching who know who I am personally, Dennis that he's talking about is not me. My first name's actually Dennis also.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not fixing your computer. Do not bring me any of your stuff to fix, because yeah, that's not my lane. So just
I'm talking about RPM, Reviewing, Playing, and More.
Yeah.
Dennis in Canada.
Yeah, I tell people my name's Dennis, and it's in the Bible. It's just backwards. Yeah, figure that out. Sined. Sinned. It's backwards in the Bible.
Okay. Yeah, Reviewing, Playing, and More says you got a cool name.
Yeah, we do. Often imitated, but never duplicated.
So if you had any advice for anybody trying to build a YouTube channel or grow a YouTube channel, and there was only like 2 or 3 things that you could tell them that would help them with growing their channel, what would it be?
Well, the first off is stay inside your lane. Talk about what you know. You know, find something that you're passionate about. If it's collecting rocks, then you'll be out there to tell all about the different sites. There's rocks to eat, there's rocks to throw, whatever it is that you like to do, and you can talk a little bit more about it. You know, if you're into cooking, do a cooking channel. But if you're really into cooking, maybe don't go out and start talking about cars. You know, stay inside your niche. You know, find that one thing that you are passionate about and do videos on that. And something that I actually have talked to Paul Michael about, he loves Dukes of Hazzard memorabilia. So my suggestion to him was go find one piece of, we'll say, his 01 Lifer hat. And he'll say, this hat I got on this date, and this is what it means to me, and do a video just on that cap. Or whatever it is. You know, just pick one item and tell a story about it. So, because ultimately that's what we're doing. We're telling a story to somebody. So that would be my biggest thing, is to stay inside your wheelhouse.
I completely agree. And the other side of that coin is, if you try to do something that you're not passionate about like that.
Oh, it shows. I've been guilty of it. I'm not really interested in being there. And it shows. It shows.
Yep. It not only shows, but you're torturing yourself by forcing yourself to be working on a subject that you're having to force yourself to work on. Yeah, we're not in high school anymore. We don't have to listen to the teacher say you have to do this subject and you have to do this subject and you have to master this subject. We don't have to put up with that anymore.
And a lot of people like to imitate or emulate their favorite YouTubers, which is great, but also find your own editing style, your own talking point style. Make it your own. Make your channel your own, because you would drive yourself crazy trying to talk exactly like and stand exactly like your favorite content creators. And it just comes off fake. Just be yourself, I guess, pretty much where I'm going with that.
Yeah, put your own spin on it.
Just disappearing at magic. And there she is.
She's gone. And she's back.
But yeah, I mean, there was another thing that I tell people. If you're starting a channel, we hit on it earlier, but for people just joining, you don't need $50,000 worth of camera equipment. Use your smartphone. Use very basic things, and you can still create great content without spending a lot of money on it.
Another thing I wholeheartedly agree with, and I made a video on our Sane Enterprises page about that. I literally made a nice video with my camera phone and nothing but my camera phone on the Sane Enterprises page. And then at the end of the nice video, that same video, I talked about how, what you just said, that you can make good videos just like this. The example was the video that's on my Sane Enterprise page with a cell phone. You don't need a bunch of fancy equipment and stuff. You can do it. I mean, just like anything else, you can start with the free version of DaVinci, and you may have some limitations with the free version of the DaVinci editing software, but you don't need all the things that DaVinci can do with the $300 program right away. The free version will already do way more than my Windows Movie Maker editor would do. And I managed to do videos with the Windows Movie Maker editor for years. And the DaVinci free software will do more than that. Same thing with TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy, there's a couple of different paid versions, and they're very cheap, but the free version will do a bunch of stuff that'll help you with your channel. And it's going to take you a while to explore all those things that the free version of TubeBuddy will do and master all those before you ever have any need for the stuff that comes with the paid version. So you might as well start with the cell phone, the free version of TubeBuddy, the free version of DaVinci software. And then, is there anything else you use that has a free version that people might be interested in?
You pretty much covered it. I mean, that's all pretty basic stuff. I mean, I say basic. I mean, but the things that you just named off is the tools of our trade.
Yeah, it's like
do not take an anvil to kill a gnat, is what we're saying. do not overthink things. Keep it simple, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Or KISS.
So I think that's great.
This is Gene Simmons from KISS.
Yep.
I'm not Gene Simmons. But I will put my logo on a lot of stuff.
Oh, Tom Reed, he's making a joke. He's saying, you want high view numbers, do a clickbait title and thumbnail. Gets me every time. Yeah, some people do that, and that's a totally unnecessary thing. When you can go to places like Google and use their their keyword search tool, and you can find out what stuff is getting a lot of searches.
Like vidIQ. That's another one.
Yeah. And what you do is before you even do that, make you a list of like 5 or 10 things that you would really like to make a video on, that interests you, that would not be work for you because you want to make a video on it anyway. And then go search those 5 things and see which one of them is getting the most searches. That's the one that's going to get you the most views. Then you make that video, use that word in the title and the description, and away you go. You're going to get a lot more views from that than you would have doing all 5 of them and working your butt off.
Stay in your wheelhouse. If you're pushing 50 like we are, maybe Fortnite dances ain't really going to be something that you need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you know.
The YouTube algorithm, they've been changing the YouTube algorithm several hundred times per year to try to make it to where people who use fake clickbait in their titles and stuff. And having a really nice fancy thumbnail and a really nice title there's nothing wrong with that, as long as what's in your video is the same kind of thing that your fancy thumbnail and title promises. When it's clickbait is when they go to the video after they see the Ferrari with the girl on the thumbnail, and then they've got lions and tigers and bears. Oh mine, it might be the most interesting video you've ever seen about lions and tigers and bears, but it has nothing to do with the thumbnail, and that's clickbait. And YouTube and Google and YouTube have been getting better and better at finding stuff like that and suppressing it instead of promoting it.
Right. Yep, absolutely.
And they consider that spam.
Well, type. And that was something that I wanted to hit on, is like early on, I wanted my channel to be more family friendly. And people that knew me personally, like, I know we're getting ready to do something off color because, you know, being a military guy, I use a lot of language in my day to day. So as the channel progressed, you know, I got a little more relaxed. I do use a little language. I do have a consumption of adult beverages and things like that on my channel that I normally I didn't start off with. And I really made an effort to try to keep it a little more PC. But I've definitely gotten away from that. But I don't get too raunchy with it. And I usually do a disclaimer like, this might not be for, you know, 21 and under.
Yeah, that is a neat feature that YouTube has. You can actually select a feature on that will give a warning before the video. Of course, we don't do that. You know, I'm not against anybody doing that, but I would do a separate channel for that than the channel we have, because we have this channel we have in the Sane Enterprises channel. It's a personal preference for me. It has nothing to do with political correctness or anything. It's a personal preference for me to have these two channels be as G-rated as possible, and maybe every once in a while a little PG, but as G-rated as possible, so that, because a lot of the guys that are in our viewers, and they're really good, hashtag Insanefriends, and they have small children that are getting into the cars at the same age that our children got into cars, very young age.
Right.
And now our kids are grown, so I mean, we could say and do pretty much whatever we want because we don't have to worry about setting an example for our own kids. But we know what it's like for them as parents of young kids to, you know, be trying to set a good example for their young kids, and then they're watching somebody, and then somebody else sets a bad example, and when they've spent the whole day trying to avoid doing or saying anything.
Sure.
And we want to be able to be the ones that they can trust. They could leave the room when their kids are watching any of our videos and go do something while the kids are like looking at the car and, oh, that's a neat car. And they can just leave the room and come back, you know, however long they want to, and trust us that we're not going to say or do anything that their kids are going to see that they would want to switch the channel or anything.
True.
And
good advice.
So if you need to, if somebody's doing a channel, you need to decide whether you're going to do that or not in the beginning. And I can tell you that another reason why we do that is respect. And this is one of the things I learned from having lots of employees, having a big crew, small crew, whatever, especially if you're in command of men that are getting burnt, bruised, and bleeding all the time. And sometimes you got to take them to the hospital and stuff. And you're the one giving them orders to do stuff like that. And, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I say I'm a lead from the trenches kind of guy, because I don't like telling people to do stuff that I know they might get hurt, that I wouldn't be willing to do myself. They haven't seen me doing myself and stuff like that. But the point is that those guys hold you to a higher standard.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you know, you can be, if you're part of the crew and you don't drink or you don't smoke and stuff like that, and I've been there because I quit all that kind of stuff early on when I was still part of the crew. And that makes you the weirdo, the outside guy, that's you
No,
know,
I keep it around
oddball and stuff like that. But if you are the boss and you don't drink and you don't smoke and you don't do any of that kind of stuff, you get a heck of a lot of respect for that. And it's kind of expected of you. And it's kind of the opposite if you do drink with them and you do smoke with them and stuff like that, and you're the boss, you lose a certain amount of respect.
Sure.
And so I got into the habit of being that one guy that had all the clean habits and all the good habits and got rid of all the bad habits. And I try to live by habits that either make me money, save me money, or improve my living conditions or the living conditions of the people around me. And of course, limit risk and stuff like that.
Well, that's something cool that you brought up was, we'll just use the Hasty, for example. You always need to be improving your situation, constantly improving. Because when you stop improving, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's in your personal life or your channel or whatever endeavor. When you stop improving, it dies.
Yeah, it's like cleaning a room, keeping a room clean or something. It might take you a long time to clean up a room and get all the nasty stuff out of there and get everything clean and organized. But it only takes dropping those good habits for a short period of time to mess it all up again. Everything in your life is the same way. And
well, since we're gonna talk about the military just a little bit, the military, when you get in, it's a good opportunity to leave you shed all your old stuff, and they break everybody down. It doesn't matter if you was born with a silver spoon in your mouth or you struggled all your life. They break you down the same, build you up the same. And a lot of people use those tools to go on out in life later and make something of themselves. But I've also seen examples where once they got out of the military structure, or we took our thumb off the button, they went right back to they went right back to who they were prior to joining the military. And I think that's sad sometimes.
Yeah, there is I've seen a lot of that most people go from one extreme to the other. They either embrace it because they have been there and they were forced to have the good habits long enough to see the rewards of the good habits and gotten used to the fact that, they, with all those good habits, they didn't have time for bad habits and they were avoiding all the consequences of the bad habits. And they're like, well, I like having all these rewards and I like not having any of these consequences and I want to keep it this way. And so they keep those good habits throughout the rest of their life. And then a lot of people go the other direction and they're like, as soon as they get out, they're like, I just couldn't wait to get out because and they rebel against all that. And they grab hold of every bad habit they can possibly get. It's kind of like sometimes people get done with doing a workout binge and a dieting binge, and they're getting really, really good shape. And then the first thing they want to do, as soon as they get all the photos and everything taken, is go out and eat pizza and drink beer that very night.
Absolutely.
And so, you never really know. Some people go one way and some people go the other. And I've read some psychiatry and stuff to help with my sales and everything. But I tell you what, the human condition is the most confusing thing you can ever try to tackle and master.
Absolutely. And to go all the way back around, maintain your vehicles. That's what we're saying. It's the car channel. Maintain your vehicle. Change the water, check the water, change the oil, change the plugs. Yep.
It's the same kind of thing. It's a bunch of good habits. It's really good habits to do those kind of things. Okay, Power Band Garage, it's nice to have you in here. Good to see you. Okay, it's well after 9. It's well after quitting time. It has been really great talking to you. We'd like to have you on some other time. And in the future, we have Streetcar Life is coming next week to be our guest on our Wednesday night live. That will be Streetcar Life. They're going to have a big event coming up soon. I left my calendar over there, so I don't have my calendar. I will shout out that time and date on Sunday, our Sane Sunday live. I will go over the calendar and shout out the events. I'll shout out John's event again too, and tell you when the Streetcar Life car show is going to be. And of course, you will get to hear from them on Wednesday night at 7:30, all about their event coming up. And we are a major sponsor of that event, so you'll see Saneauto on most of the literature and all of the literature and everything that's coming out about that event. And pretty soon after that, we will be getting into the show car season, so we'll be going over the calendar a lot more with a lot more car events and cruise-ins and car shows, charity benefits, and you'll have a chance. You always have a chance to help out the veterans on any of our shows, whether they be live or standalone shows, because we always have a link to the Wounded Warriors Project in the description of every video we do. And I'd like to thank all the great people that came to our chat and came to view our show. I'd like to thank everyone that's watching this on replay. And please go check out and support. What happened to my mind? It just floated away. It's called your Streetcar Life. I'm sorry. What is your channel name?
Smitty Travels.
Smitty Travels. I'm sorry.
Right. Now, if you want, I tell you what, the easiest way to find Smitty Travels is just Google Smitty Travels. So #1 search on that. You can do image search, video search. Any Google search of Smitty Travels will pull me up. Subscribe to all my stuff. I've got several different forms of media out there. Definitely give me a look.
And I can verify that because I've done it when I had more coffee in me.
Yeah, if you would like me to come do a video with you or come visit, if you got something you'd like to show me, hit me up on either Instagram, which is Smitty Travels 21 at Smitty Travels 21, or Facebook Messenger. Pretty easy to get me. So yeah, I'm easy to get a hold of. I'm pretty easy to work with.
Yep, he does have a Facebook page, Smitty's Travels, and you can find links to some of his videos and stuff on the Saneauto Facebook page as well. As a matter of fact, there's one on there that's near the top right now that you can click on and go right to his Smitty's Travels channels right now if you want to see that.
Smitty, it's not even Smitty's, it's plural.
Right, Smitty Travels. You're right.
Smitty Travels. Smitty Travels. And
I have really bad insomnia, and so I'm not allowed to have anything like any coffee or anything after 6 o'clock, and that has been way too long for me.
I got you. I dig it.
So it's either lose my mind in the middle of the night and be able to sleep, or have coffee and have my mind and then be up all night.
That's it.
So, but anyhow, it has been a great pleasure. And anytime you want to come back, hit me up and we will coordinate it and get you on here. And tell John said hello. And
Absolutely.
if he wants to come on here and promote his event too, we'll get him on here.
He'd probably like to do it.
Yeah, he'd be great at it too. He's always so upbeat and
great guy. Great guy. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, as we say on my channel and down in Louisiana, Bayou.
And as we say on my channel, get off the couch and get dirty.